So the next speaker that we have, I actually met 2 weeks and 3 years ago on a subway in New York when he was just starting to build the company that he's working on and has gone through a journey with to this point. So it goes without saying that he's a veteran Solana builder. And I'll hand it over to Chris to talk more about Blinks and Dialect.
Hey, everybody. Good afternoon. It's great to be here. It's hard to follow a talk like Dan's. I just get so fired up when I hear about the stuff that's going on in Solana. I don't know how many of you are new to the Solana ecosystem. Raise your hand if you've been around or new. Raise your hand if you're new. All right. I met Jake 84 years ago, so been around for a bit. Okay. I'm excited to tell you about a piece of technology that I think is as exciting as anything else that's going on Solana, so let's get into that. So my name is Chris Osborn. I'm the founder and CEO at Dialect. In June, we launched a technology called Blinks in collaboration with the Solana Foundation. Blinks, or blockchain links, change the way that you discover, share, and use the Web3 internet. The URL is the atomic unit of shareability on the internet. Blinks give your URLs superpowers. They let your users take action right from where you share the link. So instead of the classic interaction that we have on the internet where someone shares a link with you, and you got to follow that link out to a page to go do a thing, Blinks let you bring your product experiences. They teleport them into the place where the link was shared. As a part of the launch in June, we teamed up with some of our favorite wallets and dApps to do something pretty fun. We brought crypto directly into crypto Twitter. Let's talk a little bit about this. On launch day, you could swap tokens with some of your favorite protocols like Jupiter, Sanctum, Meteora, and Phantom even. You could mint and trade NFTs with Truffle and Tensor. You could vote on governance. Oh, I've got something over here. This is great. You could vote on governance on Helium and on Realms. And you could subscribe to premium content with our friends at Access Protocol. And you could do all of this right from your timeline on Twitter Web. This was made possible through a collaboration with the wallets that are able to teleport this experience directly into Twitter. And on launch, we worked directly with Backpack and Phantom and with about a dozen dApps to bring these experiences onto Twitter. Today, there are 500 Blinks in production today and 9 wallets powering this experience. It's literally every single project on Solana has built with or is building with Blinks. I'm not going to call out the couple of teams that haven't yet, but we've got some cool things coming with them. And this is across virtually all of the biggest projects on Solana, many of which you can see here, as well as, and I think as equally exciting as, is a wave of new teams building from the ground up with Blinks. I'm going to go through a few of these, both kind of more traditional examples, as well as some of the new ones that I was just thrilled to see. One of our favorite examples of this is actually, we've got Maurice in the audience here from the Lulo team. They're a DeFi protocol where you can deposit USDC and earn yield. They built a Blink, I think, within a very short time of launch. Our friends at Mallow, you can bid directly on NFT auctions from these. I mean, I'm not going to talk to you all day about the number of things you can do here, but these are some of the more traditional examples of the things you can do in DeFi and with NFTs. But there's also been a wave of new Blinks native projects, one of my favorite of which is the Send coin. So this was about a week after Blinks launched during the summer. This team did not exist the day before Blinks launched. Irfan from the team got about a week heads up on this technology, so he knew it was coming. But when we launched this, a few days later, they said, let's play around with this technology, and they launched a Blink with, I think, 100,000 NFT supply just mint for free in collaboration with 3Land, one of the major creator platforms on Solana. And it minted out, I think within a few hours, the tweet itself got like 1 million+ views. And then the crazy thing is, a couple days later, this free NFT ended up topping the charts across all blockchains and all NFT collections for 24-hour trading volume. So this is like a new distribution mechanism for bringing your product to market. And I want to emphasize they had no website, no app, nothing that they had built before. They shipped this in collaboration with their favorite teams. They built a brand off of it. They later launched a token. And now they're one of the core contributors to the Blinks technology and the ecosystem. So this one was just kind of mind-bending. I've got another shout out here I want to give. I actually see Carrie in the audience, the co-founder and CTO at Baxis. There's all kinds of interesting experiments now going on with e-commerce as well. This one is probably like still reigns supreme as my favorite Blink I've seen to date for a number of reasons, which I won't ramble on about, not because it's huge. They actually like very graciously dealt with some limitations with our rendering. So for those of you who don't know, Baxis, and Carrie, I'm going to butcher this a little bit, but Baxis does collectible spirits. So they are bringing on chain an asset class that I actually learned from the Baxis team is as interesting as an asset class to like fine art. It's growing pretty quickly. And this is like collectible whiskeys and spirits. They released just a few days, again, I think like a week after the launch, a Blink to purchase a whiskey with like a very interesting provenance, which I'm not going to read that out loud to you, but it was incredible. And it just blew up. I think got like 500,000 views, and I think I can say this, but like I think sold well north of like $70,000, $75,000 in sales in just a few days of this whiskey. I own one of them. They may actually still be available, so you should definitely check it out. Not financial advice, just delicious. And then a number of other interesting e-commerce experiences too. So one of our favorite hardware wallet providers, one of the leaders here, Keystone Wallet, also has done a number of collaborations, including with some of the NFT communities like Mad Lads and Solana Sensei here, to sell their hardware wallets directly through a Blink. And then we've seen creators, some of our favorite folks, the Superbase team. I think many of you know this team. Some of the biggest influencers in Solana. Jakey and Solana Steve are the folks behind Superbase. They've done a number of these activations as a part of their new brand. So it's been really fun to see. And then like this one's a little bit unconventional, but the Giving Block, which is like a technology provider for allowing for donations to charity and political causes, actually ended up collaborating with us to create a Blink to donate to pro-crypto causes, which I know we're all in that season right now. So it's just been like an unbelievable experience for us since June. It's been about 4 months. And in that time, I also want to share that we've shipped a host of new capabilities that you can use to build Blinks. And I'm not going to ramble through these, but they really are like a remarkable set of new tools you can use to bring your Blinks to life. And you'll see, and bring more of these experiences around the internet. And you'll see some of this in some of the things I want to share next. So all of which is to say, Blinks allow you to take your idea to market at light speed. You really can build a Blinks first product before you even build a product. But whether you have a product or not, it then lets you share your product everywhere. And this really is like a kind of like a profound change to the way you build and go to market and like the definition of like a minimum viable product. So anyway, that's what we've seen to date. But as I said at the top of this, what I'm really excited to tell you about is where Blinks are going. And it may not be what you, like if you've heard about Blinks, it may not be what you expect. So I'm going to start with just a simple technical diagram here. The simplest possible description of a Blink is that they standardize the way that transactions get constructed and delivered. So here on the left-hand side, you'll see what, and actually I think it's a little bit washed out, but you'll see that the typical way that transactions get constructed and delivered today is you go to a dApp's website and you load the page, and somewhere on that page is like deposit. Let's say you're on Lulo. I don't want to speak for Lulo. Maybe you've already designed this better since you already have a Blink, but typically that's all served inside of a laptop. So you'll see like a laptop and a person. Websites send down JavaScript, HTML, and CSS, and somewhere in that JavaScript is the SDK for the protocol to construct the transaction. So you smash the deposit button, mint, trade, whatever, and that code constructs your transaction and submits it to the wallet. Let's say you're on web for a Chrome extension. Blinks do this very interesting thing where they actually create services. You can call it kind of like an action or blink provider that delivers the transaction itself. And this simple restructuring of how transactions get delivered has enormous, enormous design consequences, which I want to get into now. But one quick note on that is it also just dramatically, like profoundly speeds up development time for folks integrating these experiences. So on the left-hand side is a very brief preview. I think it's like less than 15 or 20% of the total code of just doing a Jupyter swap. So if you want to use the Jupyter SDK to perform a swap, yeah, maybe it's only a few hundred lines of code, but it's domain specific. You got to construct your connections. You got to do a bunch of these different things. On the right-hand side is the same thing to get a Jupyter transaction from their Blink provider, that action provider. And that is really the whole code. You're like, yeah, you might want to like, tweak fees or do something else, but it really is like profound reduction in the amount of work. And this is not new, generally speaking. This is service-based architectures on the internet. But the fact that we all speak this lingua franca, this fact that the thing coming down from this is a transaction, and that is the kind of universal language of execution in blockchain, the two of those combined are really create some profound consequences. So I want to talk through a couple things that are live today and some hypotheticals about what you can do with this technology. So yes, you can bring crypto into the Web 2 platforms on web using Chrome extensions like Backpack, Phantom, and a number of other wallets. But we're also beginning to see the beginnings of actual Web3 products teleporting experiences back and forth between each other. One of my favorite examples live today is on Drip, the creator platform, one of the leading NFT platforms on Solana. Drip has partnerships with Mallow, the auction platform, and Tensor, the trading platform, and they've linked out. You find a creator on Drip, and you can link out to go bid on and collect premium content from that creator on Mallow or trade their NFTs from Drip on Tensor. With Blinks, the Drip team has now teleported these experiences directly into the Drip platform. So this thing you see here highlighted in green is a teleported component of a Blink, allowing you to bid on Mallow auctions directly from Drip. And then similarly, and I think you can't quite see it here. Oh, no, there it is. The buy button there, that's just teleported directly from Tensor's product. And this was done in just a fraction of the code. There was no native SDK integration on Drip's part. They really are just taking the Blink. And just a quick note on that previous slide about new capabilities, one of the ones I'm most excited about is Blinks. We often think of as like link previews with buttons on Twitter. We're calling them mini blinks. They're really just blinks, but mini blinks allow you to teleport individual buttons and actions. And so in this case, whether you're donating, bidding, whatever, you can actually just grab that tiny piece. And so that's what Drip is doing today to integrate Mallow and Tensor. And this is just as much a part of the capabilities of blinks, like quite literally teleporting buttons across the internet. It's actually my favorite left curve way to describe this. And then maybe this is obvious to a lot of you in the audience, but that Mallow blink on Twitter that I showed you earlier in the presentation, and now this teleported one directly in Drip, that is the same blink built by the Mallow team once. Anyone can consume this technology and pull these experiences in. And this is just a massive accelerant for composability and for one of these core promises of crypto. Another medium that I'm really excited to share, so Drip is doing this sort of Web3 dApp to Web3 dApp experience. And I want to emphasize that this is hypothetical here, but Blinks turn wallets into super apps. The major wallets have, and especially the mobile wallets, have millions of monthly active users that may be coming online to being on chain for the first time after maybe using Binance or Coinbase, and they don't know what to do. And today, dApp Explorers are the tab that virtually every mobile wallet has. It's our belief at Dialect that Blinks can transform these tabs to make more intentional, more sticky, more engaging, more retaining, and ultimately like more profitable experiences for the wallets. So a couple examples here is like, let's say you just downloaded Backpack for the first time and you maybe bought a little bit of Sol on Coinbase and you have no idea what to do with it. Earn is one of the killer apps of crypto, and from an Explorer experience directly in Backpack, for example, you might be able to discover Jito staking for the first time and say, well, of course I'd want to earn an additional 7-8% in APY. Or I might, as you see there, want to deposit some USDC directly into Lulo. You might even learn how to upgrade and practice better OPSEC for the first time. So you might get served an opportunity to buy a Keystone or a Ledger wallet directly from a Blink, and get that shipped directly to you. As you can see in this flow here, actually, well, you can't quite see it. With a lot of the new Blink's capabilities, you can take in e-commerce information securely and fully off-chain, like shipping information, email addresses, all that. And it's all authenticated via the wallet, but with signed message, action chaining, all this, you can do these multi-step journeys, securely send that information to your fulfillment. The Helio team has done a direct Blinks integration into Shopify, and then you can take that seamless commercial execution step as well, which is to actually accept, let's say, USDC or even Sol for these. And so again, this is the same Keystone Blink that already got shipped on Twitter can get served directly in a mobile wallet as a part of a recommendation to the user. And then you can discover creators. Maybe you're into art and you get addicted to the collector's experience, and you can follow an artist directly on Drip. And again, following an artist on Drip is not a transaction on chain, but it's a wallet-based authenticated experience. And last thing I'll say here, for the second time, it's all I say every day is you build these once, and they are usable everywhere. And so the Lulo deposit Blink can be used socially on Twitter or anywhere else that Blinks are supported just as much as it can be a recommendation to a new user who just onboarded to a mobile wallet. I'm personally really excited about this possibility for mobile wallets to become super apps, but the point I'm trying to get at with Blinks and where we at Dialect are taking them is they turn everything into a potential super app. I like to say that Blinks unfurl the internet or they flatten it. They bring the action directly into the call to action. And one of our favorite new projects is actually pretty timely here. We've been working with them for a couple months, but one of our favorite new SocialFi products is the Bags app. And the team behind Bags has integrated, I think they might have launched last night, their public beta. The product's been in private beta for a little while. Don't quote me on that. But they are a messaging, crypto-native messaging app, and they are using Blinks to basically bring the rest of crypto directly into their product. So let's say you're a degen sort of chat product for trading meme coins. The Bags team is going to build their own trading experience natively because they want that to be excellent. Blinks fill in literally the rest of crypto directly into their product at virtually zero work. I want to emphasize this. Any user in Bags will be able to share a Blink, like a link to a Blink, and it will unfurl directly in the chat with actions that you can take. And they've really optimized for UX, and so they have an embedded wallet, and when you smash one of those buttons, I mean, they described it as like, it's so smooth it's illegal, like how easy it is to do things. And that just gets me so excited. So Blinks are this fundamental primitive that you can use to just proliferate crypto experiences, like directly into your products, share them everywhere else. This is a bit of a side note, but there's also these other consequences to this restructuring of how transactions get constructed and delivered, which I mentioned a few minutes ago. And it's that because transactions are now, any transaction coming from a Blink is being served from a URL, that means the user no longer needs to be in the loop for a security provider such as Blowfish to run offline monitoring and simulation of what these transactions do. For anyone who's used a Chrome extension wallet before, you've seen that little loader right when you send the transaction to your Chrome extension, and you either get flagged of like failed to simulate, or you get a warning about the safety of the transaction, or you get that sort of, it's not exactly a green check mark, but like you're good to go. Security providers such as Blowfish are in the loop during that user event, and that's what happens on the left-hand side here. But one of the things we've been talking to a number of security providers about is as more and more teams actually just build their experiences using Blinks, these become well-defined, URLs on the internet from which security providers can do this like offline simulation. So we're really excited about even these like non-user facing things that this restructuring of transaction delivery can support. Okay, last point I want to leave you all with is both the least and I think absolutely most interesting thing that I want to see next from Blinks. I think, and what we're working on at Dialect is every team, if you're a builder and you're building a new product, every team should build the buttons in their own apps using Blinks. And the reason I say this is because I don't know how technical the audience is, but like there's a thing about the internet that we have taken for granted forever. Like if you were a developer back in like 2010, like early-ish Web 2 internet, a lot of the modern web development frameworks, as you built your web page and you built more pages in your site, the URL was not changing. The fact that today, modern web development frameworks like Next.js, which I personally think is the best, as you build your product, it just gives you URLs out of the box. It makes the shareability of pages on the internet basically by default. And I think we really profoundly take that for granted today, that like maybe you don't want to share a link to like, you know, Bank of America, like your credit statement or whatever, but you could share any page on the internet. What we want to do with Blinks and what we're working on today is that you build your product from the ground up using this new architecture. You build every single button in your mobile or web app using Blinks architecture. And every single one of those buttons now could be shared. And like we want to URLify the ability to take action on the internet, to really flatten it and help create this new kind of more seamless interaction layer. And we think crypto is really uniquely suited to do that. So this is the mission that we're on at Dialect. This is what we're building with Blinks. And call to action to all of you is if you are a founder, product manager, developer, you don't have to be technical, please get in touch with us. We'd love to see what you want to build with this. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. I can't believe it's been